You know, for almost 50 years now, there's been this one single burst of data that's fueled one of the biggest scientific mysteries of our time. It's really a cosmic cold case, right? A ghost in the machine that has absolutely puzzled astronomers and, let's be honest, sparked the imaginations of millions of us.
And really, it all boils down to this one absolutely tantalizing question. Back in 1977, on a quiet summer night, did we accidentally eavesdrop on a message from aliens?
Because you see, the only clue that was left behind, the only piece of evidence, was this totally cryptic string of 6 characters, printed out on a sheet of paper. 6EQJ5. I mean, that's it. This is the fingerprint of the unknown, the absolute central piece of evidence in this entire mystery.
So, okay, what in the world does this bizarre code actually mean? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go right back to the beginning.
All right, picture this. The place is the Big Ear Radio Observatory in Ohio. The date? August 15th, 1977. And for just 72 seconds, which, by the way, is exactly how long it took for the Earth's rotation to sweep the telescope's view past whatever was out there, this incredibly powerful narrow-band radio signal just blared out of the cosmic background noise. And then, poof, it was gone.
So the telescope's computer had this kind of quirky way of recording signal strength, mainly to save space on the printouts. For lower intensities, it just used the numbers 1 through 9. Simple enough. But for anything stronger, it switched over to letters. So A meant the signal was 10 times stronger than the background noise, B was 11 times, and you get the idea. So what about that letter U in our sequence? Well, that meant the signal was a staggering 30 times stronger than the normal background static of space.
Now, you have to understand, a signal that strong was just unheard of. It was the most powerful thing the Big Ear telescope had ever picked up. So when a volunteer astronomer named Jerry Ehman was reviewing the data printouts a few days later, he was so completely floored that he just circled the sequence and famously scribbled one word in the margin that gave the signal its name: wow. But here's the thing, it wasn't just how strong the signal was that was so shocking. It was its frequency. It came in at almost exactly 1420 megahertz. Now that number is a huge deal to astronomers. It's known as the hydrogen line. It's this special, internationally protected frequency that's supposed to be completely free of our own transmissions. And why is that? Well, because hydrogen is the most common element in the entire universe. So the thinking goes that this quiet channel could be a kind of universal hailing frequency, like a cosmic water cooler where any intelligent civilization out there might logically choose to broadcast a message.
Okay, so with a signal this bizarre, the investigators had to do what you always do. Start by ruling out the usual suspects, right? Could this just be some random noise, or maybe something a lot closer to home? And pretty quickly, they started crossing suspects off the list. An equipment glitch? Nope. The signal's rise and fall perfectly matched how the telescope was supposed to work. Interference from Earth? Ruled out because of that protected frequency. What about a satellite or a reflection off some space junk? Incredibly unlikely. And here's the big one. No known natural object, no star, no planet, makes a signal that's both this powerful and this narrow. The trail was going cold, and it was going cold fast. So after they'd eliminated all the usual suspects, astronomers were basically left with nothing, just a profound and, you can imagine, incredibly frustrating silence. And as time went on, the mystery only got deeper. I mean, they searched that same patch of sky over and over again for the next 30 days, and then for years after that, and they found absolutely nothing. The signal was a total one-off. All that was left was that single 72-second recording, just those 6 characters on a piece of paper. And that's how the wow signal became the stuff of legend. So for decades, the case just sat there, dormant, a true cold case. But just recently, a new team of investigators decided to reopen the files. And by digging deep into that original evidence, they found something that everyone else had missed. And the breakthrough came from this absolutely massive effort to digitize over 75,000 pages of the Big Ear's old archival data that had been saved by volunteers, by the way. And for the very first time, this meant researchers could analyze all the data from the days and weeks around the event, but now with modern computing power. And this new analysis had an immediate huge impact. By recalibrating the telescope's position, basically using other known radio sources from back then as guideposts, they could pinpoint the signal's origin with way more accuracy.
They managed to narrow the search area from this massive region of space down to two much smaller, very specific zones. They also took another look at its power, and guess what? The signal was even stronger than they first thought. They figured out it peaked at over 250 Janskys, which is just the unit they use to measure radio signal strength. To give you some perspective, that is an immense amount of energy for such a focused, narrowband signal. They even refined the frequency. And this new, super precise measurement gave them another clue. It hinted that if the source was something natural and inside our own galaxy, it had to be moving away from us at a pretty significant speed. Just another small but really crucial piece of a puzzle. But probably the biggest discovery they found buried in those archives was this. They found other similar-looking signals that the original team had also circled. Let's call them WOW2 and WOW3. Now, they were a lot weaker, but they had a similar profile. And here's the crucial part. These signals actually had a confirmed source. The analysis confirmed that these weaker signals were coming from small, cold clouds of neutral hydrogen. And this unlocked a whole new plausible theory. What if the original WOW signal wasn't artificial at all? What if it was just a 1 in a billion flare-up from a similar hydrogen cloud? And here's the real twist. The Big Ear telescope was specifically designed to filter out broad, natural-looking signals. So think about it. If a natural signal was powerful enough, the telescope might have only caught its very sharpest peak, making it look artificially narrow and intense, which is exactly what the WOW signal looked like. So all of a sudden, we have a really compelling suspect for a natural origin. But the story doesn't end there. It has one final and kind of sad twist. You see, even as all this new evidence is breathing new life into this old mystery, the one key instrument at the very heart of the story, it's long gone. Just as one longtime SETI researcher put it, it's tragic that the telescope was torn down. Yeah, back in 1997, the Big Ear telescope, the only instrument on Earth to ever hear this incredible signal, was dismantled. The land was sold off to developers to make way for luxury homes and an expanded golf course. So where does that leave us? What was it, an incredibly rare, super powerful blast from a hydrogen cloud that just happened to perfectly mimic an intelligent signal? Or was it a fleeting message from another civilization out there, one that we just happened to catch by chance for only 72 seconds? The case has a hot new lead for sure, but it is far from closed. And the enduring mystery of the WOW signal is just this powerful reminder of how much is still out there to discover, and exactly why we have to keep listening.